What if I told you? Episode 2 wasn't trying to explain why Juliette lost her memory. It was trying to explain why someone would want to erase it in the first place. Because once you connect every storyline in this episode, Juliette, Charlotte, Walker, even those strange flashbacks from centuries ago, they all point toward the exact same terrifying idea. The silo doesn't survive by hiding the outside world. It survives by controlling the past. And that's why I think almost everyone walked away from this episode asking the wrong question. Most people asked, who erased Juliette's memories? But that's not the mystery. The real mystery is, why does the silo need people who can't remember the truth? At first, it feels like the show suddenly wants to tell two completely different stories. One follows Juliette, trying to understand what happened to her. The other throws us hundreds of years into the past, long before the silos even existed. But here's what makes this episode so clever. Those flashbacks aren't interrupting the story. They are the story. They're quietly answering a question the series has been asking since season 1. Not, who built the silos? But, what kind of world needed them? And once you realize that, something incredible starts happening. The present stops explaining the past, and the past starts explaining the present. Because both timelines are hiding the exact same secret. And almost nobody noticed it. For years, we thought the biggest mystery of Silo was outside. What happened to the world? Why can't people leave? What is hidden beyond those walls? But episode 2 quietly changes the question. Because the most dangerous thing inside the silo was never the world outside. It was the truth about how they got there. The flashbacks introduce something extremely important. A world that existed before the rules. Before the pact. Before the rankings. Before everyone accepted that the silo was the only reality they would ever know. And this is where the episode becomes much smarter than it first appears. Because the past timeline doesn't just show us history. It shows us a pattern. Every civilization eventually faces the same problem. When people discover something dangerous, do you trust them with the truth? Or do you protect them from it? And the creators of Silo seem to suggest something terrifying. The silo was not built because humanity forgot the truth. It was built because someone decided humanity couldn't handle it. That's why the past matters so much. Because the silo isn't just a place. It's an experiment. An experiment about control, memory, and human behavior. And this is where Charlotte's storyline becomes interesting. At first, her connection to Juliette feels like another mystery. Another puzzle piece. But look closer. The show isn't only asking, who is Charlotte? Because Charlotte represents something the silo has always feared. A person who remembers. A person who questions. A person who can connect pieces that were intentionally separated. And suddenly, Juliette's memory loss becomes much more disturbing. Because forgetting isn't just a side effect. It's a tool. A tool for control. A society that controls information doesn't need to control everyone. It only needs to control what people remember. And that's the hidden connection between the past and the present. The people who built the silo. And the people run it now. Might be separated by centuries. But they are fighting the same battle. The battle over the truth. After understanding the past, we have to look at the present. Because episode 2 reveals something much more frightening about Juliette's situation. Her missing memories are not just a mystery. They are a warning. At first, it feels like Juliette's biggest problem is finding out what happened to her. Where she was. Who helped her. Why she can't remember everything. But the deeper question is, what if forgetting was the entire point? Because throughout Silo, information has always been treated like a weapon. A dangerous piece of knowledge can destroy the entire system. And the easiest way to stop people from discovering the truth is not to lock the truth away. It's to make people forget they were ever looking for it. That's what makes the pills so interesting. They are not just a medical tool. They represent something much bigger. Control. A person without memories doesn't just lose the past. They lose the ability to connect the dots. They lose the ability to question. They lose the ability to fight back. And this is why Juliette is different. Because even after parts of her memory disappear, something remains. Her curiosity. Her instinct. Her need to find answers. The silo can erase information. It can hide documents. It can control what people see. But it cannot completely erase human curiosity. And that's where the note becomes so important. Because a single piece of information, a small reminder from the past, can become more powerful than an entire system built on lies. Think about that. The silo is hundreds of levels, filled with technology, rules, security, people watching every movement. Yet one small message, one forgotten truth, can threaten everything. And that's the real fear of the silo. Not that people will discover the outside world, but that they will discover the story they were told was never complete. Juliette isn't dangerous because she wants to escape. She's dangerous because she wants to understand. And understanding is the one thing the silo cannot control forever. Because every controlled society has the same weakness. Someone eventually asks the forbidden question. Why? And in silo, that one question might be enough to bring the entire system down. For most people inside the silo, Bernard looks like the person standing between them and the truth. The man who controls information. The man who decides what people can know. The man protecting the system. It shows us that the silo is not just a place with rules. It's a system. A system designed to survive beyond any single person. And that's what makes Bernard such a fascinating character. Because he doesn't behave like someone who simply wants power. He behaves like someone who believes the system must continue, no matter the cost. The most dangerous thing about a system like this is that eventually people stop asking, "Is this right?" and start asking, "Does this work?" Because from Bernard's perspective, every secret he hides, every rule he enforces, every person he sacrifices, might be necessary to prevent something worse. And that's the terrifying idea behind silo. The people protecting the lie might genuinely believe they are saving everyone. But here's the problem. A system built on fear eventually creates the very thing it tries to prevent. Rebellion. Juliette doesn't become dangerous because she wants chaos. She becomes dangerous because she proves something Bernard cannot accept. People can survive knowing the truth. And maybe that's why the silo fears people like her. Not because they are violent. Not because they want destruction. But because they prove that control was never the only option. The vault contains information. The silo contains people. But the biggest question is, who is controlling who? The biggest mystery of silo was never the world outside. It was the story people inside were forced to believe. For generations, people inside the silo have lived with the same idea. That the rules exist for their protection. That the truth is too dangerous. That asking too many questions can destroy everything. But episode 2 starts challenging that idea. Because when you connect the past with Juliette's missing memories, with Charlotte's connection to forgotten information, a different picture appears. The silo is not just a shelter. It's a machine. A machine designed to control information, control memories, and control the way people understand their own history. And that's why Juliette is such a threat. Not because she discovered a secret, but because she refuses to stop searching. The system can remove evidence. It can erase records. It can change what people remember. But it cannot completely erase curiosity. And maybe that's the biggest mistake the creators of the silo made. They believed controlling the past would control the future. But they forgot one thing. Humans don't only search for answers because they know something is hidden. Sometimes, they search because they feel something is wrong. And that's exactly what happens with Juliette. Before she remembers everything, before she understands the full truth, she already knows one thing. Something doesn't make sense. And that feeling, that instinct, might be more powerful than any rule inside the silo. Because every empire built on a hidden truth eventually faces the same problem. Someone remembers. Someone questions. Someone opens the door. And maybe the real secret of silo is not what happened to the outside world. Maybe the real secret is why humanity built a world where forgetting became necessary. Episode 2 doesn't just ask, can Juliette escape the silo? It asks something much bigger. Can humanity escape the stories it created to survive? This is Ghost Frame. And if episode 2 showed us anything, it's that in silo, the most dangerous thing you can find is not the truth. It's the question that comes before it. Why?